What's up, Raider Nation, and welcome to this absolute dumpster fire that we call the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, today, what we're going to be talking about is, for one, what the hell is going on with the Geno Smith situation? Why is Pete Carroll acting like he still has a job? For two, what are our alternatives if we go ahead and actually have the opportunity to bench Geno Smith? And then we're also going to talk about, what the shit show of an offseason and early season this has been for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, there were a whole lot of red flags that popped up. You ever end up with a girlfriend or a boyfriend and there's all these red flags, right? But you're overlooking them. Yeah, but they have these good qualities, and yeah, this is good, and yeah, that's good. And then you get down to a breakup, right? And then after the breakup, or right before the breakup, right, in this situation, then you're looking at the situation, you're like, geez, well, there was this red flag, and there was that red flag, and oh yeah, what about that red flag? And then all of a sudden you're seeing it very clearly, and there's no mistaking that, oh shit, I have pretty much made the absolute wrong decision in this situation, right? And so we're going to go ahead and get into that, right? First off, if you did not see the Colts game, you lucked out, right? You spared yourself an absolutely atrocious game that, if you can even call it that the Las Vegas Raiders didn't even participate in. I was going to say participated in, did not participate in, man. User said, all I know is pain. Still defending this team hurts. Yes. Treasy with the heart me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, this is crazy, right? This is absolutely crazy that any of us are still even in a position where there's even any willingness to watch this team anymore. And I got to tell you guys, man, I understand that it's very, very hard to even consider watching this team anymore. But I will let you know that I am going to be here throughout the entire season. I'm going to be here for every game. I'm going to be doing watch parties. I'm going to be doing breakdowns. I'm going to be ranting about bullshit that's going on. I'm going to go ahead and be talking about whatever little nuggets of good things that might happen, right? But I got to tell you, man, right now, this team, as my son would say, is bullshit. So, first thing I want to talk about, man, is Geno Smith. Now, I've been a guy that, Geno Smith was not a quarterback that I really wanted, right? He wasn't somebody that was even on my he wasn't even on my radar during this offseason, right? It wasn't somebody that I was like, you know what, man, we need to go out there and we need to get Geno Smith. That's how, we're going to save this team, right? Not even on my radar at all, and then what ends up happening, and Jerome says y'all are going to get a top 5 pick in the draft, get you a quarterback, and hopefully there's even a quarterback worth taking, right? There's a couple of quarterbacks that I've had my eye on a little bit, but nobody that really moves the needle for me, right? And who's saying y'all need Aaron Rodgers? That's actually going well for the Steelers, so, and then Daniel Jones going to the Colts. We could have had him, but, and Daniel Jones was a guy I definitely didn't want, right? But Geno Smith was not on my radar. So when we made this move, I was kind of shocked. And what I did was I looked at the situation. I said, you know what? Geno Smith has some good tape, right? And yeah, there's been some sloppy play. Yeah, there's been some turnovers. Yeah, there's been, all this stuff. And Tony, is this season done for our silver and black? I have to say yes, right? And I didn't want to even say that yet, because we've only had 5 weeks, but it's done, right? Because this team has not shown that we are a team that is going to turn around. We are a team that has not shown that we, when I look at our schedule, I don't even know that we're going to beat the Titans. You know what I'm saying? I have a feeling that we're going to probably have 4 wins, right? And we should probably try to get less than that. It's so awful right now. Unless we do something big and monumental and turn this thing around, then all I see is a bunch of L's in our future, right? And that's part of me is ranting, right? And I've sat on this for a couple of days, and I'm pretty pissed off about it. But guess what? What do we have to be happy about? Waste of money on Geno, so overpaid. Yes. Hazen with the follow, salute. So you beat the Broncos? I don't know that we'll beat the Broncos because it's a division rivalry team. we might walk away with a win on one of those games. But honestly, man, I don't really feel very good about us beating anybody. I don't even feel good about us beating the Titans, right? Now, if we go out and we stomp the Titans, if we look like a damn good football team all of a sudden, then, and you know what? I think I'm messing up the sound. Can you guys hear me okay on TikTok? Because I have my earbud in. I forgot. Can you guys hear me okay over there? Because if the sound's kind of spotty, let me know. I'll take my earbud out. Because sometimes these earbuds, the mic's not that good on them. So you guys let me know. Oh shit, man. Where do I even start with this? So we go out and we get Geno Smith, right? I watched some tape on Geno Smith, and I'll tell you what, man, the dude, he looked pretty friggin' good on tape, right? He had his mistakes, he had his this and that, and then what was sold to us was that Chip Kelly is a really, really good offensive coordinator, right? They said he's not that great of a head coach, but he's a great offensive coordinator. And Chip Kelly plus Geno Smith is going to be this magic, right? And that's not what we have. That is absolutely not what we have at all. Sneakerology, if we don't beat the Titans, I'm going to crash out. Exactly. Elena said the Chiefs lost, and that was like the only bright part of this week at all. And I absolutely loved watching that. Tino with the share, thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that. So, man, Geno Smith and Chip Kelly has been an atrocious combination. It is absolutely disgusting to watch this shit. Sneakerology with the follow. Ranger with the follow. Salute. Now, what I'm really, man, is everybody is saying, Kenny Pickett, let's get Kenny Pickett. And I've been saying it during the watch parties, right? Like, Kenny Pickett is an awful quarterback. Kenny Pickett is absolutely an awful quarterback. Like, Kenny Pickett is not a guy that I want to see start for this team, period, ever. Now, there could be some magical Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold kind of experience where we actually have Kenny Pickett show up in a Chip Kelly offense and it looks good, right? That's a possibility. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I've watched Kenny Pickett play. My wife is a Steelers fan. I watched a lot of Kenny Pickett games. Dude is garbage, right? If you look at his stat lines, he has never thrown for double-digit touchdowns, and he throws a lot of picks as well. There's a reason why his last name is Pickett. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, the logo, shit, man. And then people are saying Aiden O'Connell, right? It's Aiden O'Connell time. He should be coming back from a wrist injury. No, follow. Salute to you. I appreciate that. So Aiden O'Connell should be in a position where he could come back from his wrist fracture. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever had a fracture on your wrist, right? But I've fractured both my wrists before, and it sucks. It's a shitty recovery process. And like after, 5 weeks, like my shit did not feel okay. Granted, these guys have top surgeons and top trainers and all that stuff, right? But man, Aiden O'Connell, I could see how people want him back. The problem that I have with Aiden O'Connell being our quarterback is that he played absolutely the worst football that we've seen Aiden O'Connell play in the NFL this preseason under Chip Kelly. And it really, really makes me wonder, is Chip Kelly the actual problem, right? Exactly. I was saying my wrist is still friggin' pops when I do that shit too, man. It's messed up. And it's his throwing hand too. So I'm wondering if Aiden O'Connell, for one, is even going to be in a situation that he can even sling the ball right. And then another piece of this is he played so awful under Chip Kelly. Is it Geno Smith? Is it Aiden O'Connell? Or is it Chip Kelly, right? Now, Aiden O'Connell and Geno Smith have not been known to be great quarterbacks. They have not. And I'm not going to get up here and try to lie to you like these guys are the best quarterbacks ever and they're the solution to this. Like, no, right? But these are both guys that have played good football in certain situations, right? Aiden O'Connell put up that 63 piece on the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Nana says, Geno is like a deer in the headlights. You don't know what the F is going on. And that's exactly it, right? And part of that was because he didn't really trust his offensive line. It was absolutely awful without Jackson Powers out there. Jackson Powers Johnson absolutely makes up the whole interior of our offensive line. But and then people said, oh, Aiden O'Connell was playing with the 2s and 3s in the preseason, and that's why he looked so horrible. And I could get that. And they're not pulling out the entire playbook in preseason, right? But Pete Carroll is so damn attached to his guy being the starter and Geno Smith that honestly, I don't know what it would take for us to actually be in a situation that we see Geno Smith get benched. I do not know what that would take. Jorge is saying trade for Sanders. Well, the Browns just traded Joe Flacco to the Bengals, which that tells me that Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are their quarterbacks, and that's who they're sticking with, right? So they're not going to be looking to move Sanders. And, I saw people saying, well, why didn't we trade for Joe Flacco? Joe Flacco is the second worst quarterback in the NFL right now. Geno Smith is the worst, Hussein is saying a trade for a QB is likely at this point. You believe it's likely or not likely? Infamous said, hear me out. What if we kept Carr and had Pete Carroll? That's what I think about. I think that Derek Carr would definitely play better under Pete Carroll than Geno is playing. I definitely think that Derek Carr would play better than Geno Smith, right? But do I believe that Derek Carr would come out of retirement, we'd trade the Saints and pay off his contract because they still owe him like $35 million. And then we would bring Carr in week 6, and he's never played a snap under this regime and just would magically put it together and, go on a winning spree and we'd make the playoffs? No. Do I think it would probably look better than Geno Smith at this point? Yes. There is something really, really wrong with what's going on with Geno Smith and this regime, right? And why is it that after several seasons in a row, we go through new coach, new GM, new quarterback? It's horrible. Then we fire everybody, right? And we bring in a new coach, a new GM, and a new quarterback. It's horrible. And then we bring in a new coach, a new GM, and a new quarterback, and it's horrible. How? How is it that it's the exact same product every goddamn year with whole different people? Infamous with the follow salute. Why? Right? Is it that we lack consistency and we don't allow anybody to stay in the building long enough to actually develop? Is it that we just absolutely hire the worst people because Mark Davis doesn't know shit about football? What is it that's actually causing this problem for the Raiders? Now, I'm going to share a screen on YouTube about, and this is from a post that basically I copied it from. It was a post that I saw, and I put it on my Facebook, right? Richard Simmons, what's up, man? Not doing the exercise videos anymore? Just kidding, bro. But they need to make a big change in playing. I'll tell you what we need to do is offense. If we keep Geno every down, quick release offense, similar to Carr style, quick release, and then unleash Genty. And absolutely, right? Chip Kelly is not calling any of these kind of plays at all, right? Chip Kelly is calling deep plays that take a long time to develop, and anything that's underneath, it's so predictable. It's so friggin' predictable. It's like he's calling this college offense that the NFL is being able to just absolutely pick apart, And I'm not a football expert, right? I am no NFL expert. I couldn't tell you, I've never coached the game. I'm just a Raiders fan. But what I see, right, when I watch games, when I watch tape, what I see is that we are absolutely calling awful plays at awful times. Like Genty is running the ball all the way down the field with passes and runs, and we get to the red zone, And then we go away from him, and Geno throws a pick. It gets tipped up in the air, and it gets picked off in the red zone, right? Why weren't we running the ball to Ashton Jeanty? We were on like the 11-yard line. Feed the ball to fucking Jeanty. Second down. Like, what were we thinking, right? There was those two picks in that game, that last week's game that was a 3-pick game. There was 2 of them that were identical friggin' plays. Both times was a pick. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we thinking? You know? And if we look at a bunch of these issues that we've been having, right? This has been this is not just a Geno Smith or a Chip Kelly issue. This has been a friggin' thing, right? So first on this list is the entire Christian Wilkins situation. The entire Christian Wilkins situation was, not only was it a shit show, but there was really very little explanation, right? There was, we wanted him to get this surgery. That he had a surgery last year for a Jones fracture, right? And he had this surgery, and it didn't heal well. And so then he's like, has a whole year to figure that out. Nobody does shit about it, right? And then we get to training camp, our OTAs, right? And all of a sudden, Christian Wilkins can't be out there. He was out there like one day without a boot, and then all of a sudden he's wearing a boot. Did he have a setback? Nobody says. All they ended up saying was that they moved on from Christian Wilkins because he was refusing to get a second surgery. The Raiders said, "We want you to get a second surgery." And he was like, "No, I don't want to get it." And then there was some like weird locker room shit that happened, and nobody really ever explained that either, right? And then we get rid of Christian Wilkins, who was the big free agency signing from Tom Telesco the year before. With no plan on to replace him, we traded Jacorian Bennett for Thomas Booker. And don't get me started on trading our best cornerback for a friggin' defensive tackle, which, okay, I like Booker. He's doing a decent job. He ain't no friggin' Christian Wilkins. And our secondary is absolutely horrible. So why are we trading away our best corner to do that? Okay. That whole situation played out. That sucked, right? And then, played Brock Bowers through an injury. The whole watch party, yeah, you're right, Andrew. Jacorian Bennett does stay hurt. And I think that's part of why they moved on from him. He was still having shoulder issues and all that. But, like, the corners right now that I have fallen, are not amazing. They're not. Caillou Blue Kelly is getting the crap kick out of it. That dude is losing consistently. And I like him, right? And he was doing well at first. They're beating him. They're beating him. So then, okay, the Brock Bowers injury, right? That week 1 watch party against the Patriots, I was saying, shit, man, we're playing in the rain. We need to make sure that we don't have any severe knee injuries, right? And then, boom, Brock Bowers goes out of the game with a damn knee injury. And what Pete Carroll said was, he wanted to go back in, but we decided not to because, they were winning, right? And so they didn't do it. Okay. Week 2, he goes in with a damn knee brace, and he looked absolutely slow. You could tell this is not even a 50% Brock Bowers. And I kept saying, why is he out here? Why are we risking him? He was playing on plays that he absolutely shouldn't have been playing in, right? And we're getting our fucking asses kicked by the Chargers. And it's like, okay, we're getting our ass kicked by the Chargers. Why are we still playing Brock Bowers? Why is he out there, right? And I kept saying it. Andrew with the follow, salute. Oh, man. And then, okay, then you look at that week against the Commanders. Brock Bowers still in a knee brace, still slow, still looking like he's hurt. Why are we playing him? And holy crap, we did not show up to play against the Commanders at all. Why are we playing Brock Bowers? We should have sat Brock Bowers for those 2 weeks, especially because getting those bad losses those 2 weeks, at least as fans, right? At least as delusional fans, let's say. Let's just say it. I could have been like, you know what? I think we lost because we didn't have Brock Bowers out there. But what really happened was that defenses knew that Brock Bowers was slow. He was not himself, and he was easy to take out of the game. which made it to where they were able to take everybody else out of the game, right? Too predictable on our offense. Man, I'm not even going to play around tonight, man. This dude can get the block out of here. Blah, blah. Crazy. Yeah, we have a whole lot of issues besides QB. A whole lot. AOC's not the answer. Cam Miller's not the answer. Kenny Pickett's not the answer. Geno Smith is not the answer. Hell, we could probably bring a goddamn good quarterback in here, and it might not be the freaking answer, right? Because we got bigger problems, right? This Colts game was like an absolute must-win game for the Raiders. Absolute must-win game for the Raiders. And nobody showed up for this game. We had a blocked punt, not to mention that blocked field goal against the Bears. That was stupid. Lost the game because of that one. Then that very next game, we have a block punt where our punter, the best punter in the league, gets injured, right? Okay, that sucks. Our offensive line, they were okay. They weren't awful, but they weren't good either, right? Ashton Genty played well. Geno Smith played like shit. Our wide receivers played like shit. Our defense, all the way up and down, played like shit. The only part of our defense that's actually playing any good is our run stopping game. For once, we can actually stop the run, right? Which is super good. Yo, you have a good one. Rest in peace to the Raiders, 6-44 against the Colts. I think it was actually 6-40, but you know, who's counting, right? Oh, man. Richardson is saying, otherwise get Gruden, we would solve the problem. Gruden absolutely coached horrible with the Raiders. He wasted a shit ton of – he traded Khalil Mack, got a bunch of first-round picks, wasted them all, got Josh Jacobs, that was decent, and then absolutely did horrible. The only season that we actually really did good, he gets all these emails leaked. Henry Ruggs goes to prison. Like, it was a shit show. You know, and then we didn't build on any of that, right? We just started fresh. Raiders 7528, no, don't bench the Geno. He'll get us a top 5 pick. Raiders 7528, you are consistent. That is for sure. Okay, and so then we look at Jack Besh, right? We drafted a friggin' running back in the first round, right? Jack Del Rio wasn't that bad at coaching, but he wasn't that good either. Was he better than what we have right now? I'll say that, yeah. But so was Gruden. But I don't think that either of those guys is the solution. I think that it's just better than what we have now. But Jack Besh, we drafted Ashton Genty in the first round, and I love that pick, right? Ashton Genty is an absolutely great pick. But then second round, we trade back and we get Jack Besh. I'm like, Jack Besh, this guy isn't that great of a player. He had a good Senior Bowl. He's not going to turn around our offense. Can he block? Can he play right tackle? Can he play left guard? No? Then why do we have him? We should have absolutely got an offensive lineman in that second round. But we did not. Instead, we wait till the third round, and then we get a tackle and a guard, both of which Pete Carroll refuses to play. It's the same shit like when Josh McDaniels was asked about starting Aiden O'Connell, and he was like, this isn't preseason. You know, Pete Carroll's having that same damn attitude about 2 third-round friggin' picks. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, these are third-round picks. DJ Glaze was a third-round pick. Darren Mumford went down with an injury. DJ Glaze went in to start at right tackle. He won the job. Darren Mumford's no longer even on this team. DJ Glaze is playing like shit this year, but he won that right tackle job, right? So why not give these guys a try? Did you guys just draft some awful offensive linemen? Now, Stone Forsythe actually played pretty damn good at left tackle. I was impressed. I did not think that I thought he was going to suck. So I was happy about But then we also drafted Darian Porter in the 3rd round, and this guy didn't even get the start, right? Caillou Blue Kelly won the start over him. Awful. And then, okay, this whole thing about Jack Bech was benched, right? Barely getting any snaps at all, like at all. And then Apostle with the pumpkin salute. Thank you. Jack Bech is he gets pretty much benched, almost no snaps. Dante Thornton is out there. Yes, he's 6'5". Yes, he runs a 4.340, but the dude cannot catch the friggin' ball. He can't get wide open in space. He's not getting separation. Like, why do you have this fast damn receiver? He doesn't run routes as good as what they sold us during the damn offseason. Vic with the follow salute. So then we go on to JPJ. Okay, he had a concussion. Then they bring in Alex Kappa. Okay. You bring in Alex Kappa for JPJ. He plays horrible. Our offensive line is trash. Then JPJ is cleared, and he doesn't get a full week of practice. And Pete Carroll says, you know what? We're going to bench JPJ for Alex Kappa for continuity on the line. Continuity on the line, Alex Kappa was injured throughout training camp. And why is JPJ the only one that's actually battling for a job? Dom, what's good, man? Salute. So that's a whole trash situation, right? And then they did this thing where last year at the end of the season, we had the number 7th overall passing grade once they put JPJ in at center, Jordan Meredith at left guard, and Dylan Parham was at right guard with our same offensive tackles that we have right now, right? And it's number 7th overall passing grade, number 16th overall run blocking grade. That sounds like a pretty damn decent offensive line, and that's why during the offseason I was saying, no, Geno Smith is going to play better over here than he did in Seattle because he had a shit offensive line over there in Seattle. He was running for his goddamn life, and that's why he was throwing interceptions, right? And then he gets over here, and we're like, let's play musical chairs on our offensive line and put Jordan Meredith, who's a friggin' never played center in his life, let's put him over the guy that we drafted in the 2nd round the year before because he won the award for the best center in college football. What the fuck are we doing? Then Max Crosby, seeing a career low percentage of snaps at 7 and 9 tech, career high at 5 and 4 tech. They're dropping him and Malcolm Kuntz in coverage. Why? The guy that has the most tackles for loss. Why the guy that has so many damn pressures and QB hits? Why are we dropping him in coverage, right? When he got that interception, he didn't drop in coverage. He didn't break through the line. He moved across. He batted a ball up in the air at the line of scrimmage, picked it off, right? Not because he was trying to play corner or some shit. And then Malcolm Kuntz has been awful. Yo, Joey says Pete's got CTE. No shit, man. I think that dude's getting Alzheimer's or some shit. Like, he's showing his age right now because you ever try to negotiate with like a grandparent or somebody that's in their 70s or 80s? Like, dude, they're not very receptive to new information. You tell them they're wrong about something, holy crap. It does not go good. And that's exactly what Pete Carroll is doing right now. It's like he's like doing that whole thing of Josh McDaniels was, where it's like, I know what's best and I'm not going to listen to anybody. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Joey said everywhere it's taken more than 1 year to fix things. I mean, yeah, but he's never done this bad. He's never done this bad at all. So then, let's see. Jermaine Pratt. Linebacker Jermaine Pratt was just released. What happened there? Right? What happened with Jermaine Pratt that he didn't travel with the team to Indy? Pete said he decided to go with those other guys. What the hell does that mean? And then dude gets released. What is going on? No explanation. No, is it a locker room issue? Is he because he had a non-injury related reason for not traveling with the team? Is it that he's saying, fuck this, I want out? Like, what is happening? Give us some damn answers. Not to mention Amari Cooper. We go out there and we sign Amari Cooper, who looked damn out of shape, did not look like he was happy to be here. We sign him for a friggin' week. And then he retires. He says, no, I'm not going to do this. Amari Cooper saw this shit show coming. Amari Cooper said, nah, I'm not playing. This is bullshit. That's what Amari Cooper said. So we got Christian Wilkins, Amari Cooper, Jermaine Pratt. Are they all three the problem? Or is there something wrong with our front office? Is there something wrong with our coaching staff? Is there something wrong with our coordinator? Like, what is wrong in the building? Because there is something that is friggin' wrong in the building. Raheem Mostert got benched because he refused to play special teams. The dude is a 31-year-old running back. Why do you want him to play special teams? Why is he going to go out there and return kicks, which he's doing now? And he's shown to be a way better running back than friggin' Zamir White, right? But if you really are so, why don't you just have Zamir White return kicks? That way he can run into a brick wall. And if somebody gets hurt, it's him. Not that I want anybody to get hurt. But why would we do that, right? Santos said Pete Carroll's the problem. I think you're right. Cash Money said, for real, something is going on behind the scenes that we don't hear about. John said, thank you for taking Geno off our hands. Dude, this is a shit show, right? Absolute shit show. Raheem Mostert. Then we go on to, Ashton Genty. Only on the field for 47% of third and fourth down snaps. How many times have we seen a 3rd and 1 and we do a goddamn QB sneak? What are we doing here, man? Yeah, Christian's saying we have AP and Telesco back for another year. Like, what is going on here, right? Why are we doing a QB sneak on 3rd and 1 when we have Ashton fucking Genty? Like, you have Ashton Genty, who's the first round pick, number 6 overall in the draft, number 1 running back in the draft. The guy you can't tackle, right? We're on a 3rd and 1. Why don't you maybe think about running it with your damn star running back, you know? Hummer, what's good, man? One of the moderators in the building just signed on. Did we drop Geno? Geno always sneaks to his left, yet JPJ is to his right. No, we did not drop Geno. And honestly, what it's looking like is that Pete Carroll is going to fucking ride it out with Geno until they're both fired off this damn team. You know what I'm saying? Art, I'm telling you, I would take Derek Carr for the rest of the year. I would. Even though he hasn't had an off season, even though he's been on the couch, even though he doesn't know this system, fuck it. I would take it. All right, what else do we got? Oh, yeah. Ashton Genty had 101% of yards after contact through 3 weeks. That was disgusting. That was absolutely disgusting. Hudson, I am not on cocaine, have not touched cocaine for 14 years, man. Just pissed the fuck off. It's already been a long week. It's only friggin' Tuesday. It wasn't 40-3, Marvin. It was 40-6. But yeah, how do you get over 100%? Cash Money, the way you get it over 100% is that he had more yards after contact than he had with yards. Period. So he had yards after contact that turned into negative yardage. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is stupid. That is stupid. That's what that is. Let's see. Ranked the 32nd ranked special teams, on pace for a league record low in EPA. Like, our special teams is garbage. Not only are we missing kicks, we had a game-winning field goal blocked. We had that punt blocked where AJ Cole got hurt. Like, it's just our special teams. We're giving up touchdowns on kick returns, and yeah, I miss Bisaccia too, man. We're giving up big long returns that don't go for a touchdown on punts and kicks. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Refusal to bench Geno Smith despite most interceptions in the NFL. He's got nine interceptions in 5 weeks. Like, yeah, Marvin said even when he threw his helmet, it got intercepted. Crazy, right? Sneakerology said Patrick Graham needs to go. Patrick Graham, he had a decent defense last year. Decent. Not great, decent. And then they go in there and they change his whole scheme for Pete Carroll's liking. And it gets worse, right? It's like constant, like soft zone, cover 3, like easy shit to pick apart. Cash Money said at this point, let Geno cook. What's the worst he's going to do? Get us a good draft pick? And you might not be wrong about that, Cash Money. I mean, maybe, we take the trading wheels off Geno Smith, say, you know what? Just go out there and do the full-on Jameis Winston thing and sling the rock. See what happens. Maybe you actually just accidentally, fall on some touchdowns. Right now, he's on pace for 32 interceptions. So, Hummer said Pete is playing his version of Vegas odds. Geno is statistically only going to throw one more interception this season. Is that what they're saying? Or is that what he's saying? Or you think that's what he's thinking? Because that's crazy, man. Because he's going to definitely throw more than one. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, Hummer. Oh, shit. Let's see. We have 2 losses by 20 or more points. We kicked the field goal when we were down 40-6 on 4th and 7. 4th highest missed tackle rate in the NFL, and 3rd most missed special teams tackles. It's a horrible joke, Hummer. This damn team. Cash Money said he'll take the under, hopefully. Grab and Go said, I'm convinced we're taking for some unknown reason. I mean, I thought that last year, man. Raider 7528 was constantly in the chat saying, we're going to tank. And I didn't believe him. And then I was like, damn, I think we're tanking. And then we go and win a bunch of meaningless games at the end of the season for some dumb reason. Santos said Pete Carroll is going to be our downfall because of his stubbornness. And honestly, I'm not sure if it's the combination of Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, and Geno Smith, if it's one of them, if it's all of them, if it's all of them together, I don't know, man. But this is an absolute shit show. And it gets worse than all of this, man. I mean, it absolutely gets worse than this shit. We made Chip Kelly the highest paid offensive coordinator. What the hell is that shit, man? What did he do to really deserve that, right? Okay, I get it. He won a natty, in college football and, this, that, and blah, 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 right? But his NFL track record isn't exactly super great, right? And a lot of people said this was a stupid move, and I was like, hell no, man. Like, this is going to be legit. It's got to be better than Luke Getsy. Well, guess what? Luke Getsy had a better record after week 5 than we do now. Pete Carroll hires his son, Brandon Carroll, as an offensive line coach. Never coached in the NFL in his life. Then he shuffles around the offensive line and has beef with Jackson Powers Johnson and commitment to excrement. Halos, man, she wanted something, man. Santos said, regardless of how we feel about Kenny Pickett or Cam Miller, Geno is the worst QB in the NFL. Right, and so starting one of those guys, can they actually really make us worse? Maybe. Kind of worth the gamble. Cash Money said, I've been more excited for this year's team tank than the last 5, but it's showing on tape. And that's the what? Alicia, Kenny Pickett can't be much worse than Geno ATP. So Kenny Pickett is actually really awful. The only way Kenny Pickett actually plays better than Geno Smith is if he has like a Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold type year where he just makes this resurgence in his career and all of a sudden makes a comeback, right? Because Kenny Pickett has never thrown for more than he's never thrown double-digit touchdowns in a season. I mean, he was drafted in the first round by Pittsburgh. They played him for 2 seasons, and then they got rid of him. They said, no, we're not doing that. We traded a 3rd-round pick for Geno Smith and then immediately gave him an extension. Like, what the hell? Homer said, remember Gruden did the sneaky tank? Maybe this is how Pete does it. Just needs to get a few guys like Max to sign on for the next year. The hard part is that unless your guys in the building know that that's the plan, they're going to give up on you. You're going to lose the locker room. And then another piece of that is Pete Carroll has never had this awful of a start in any season ever that he's ever coached since 1997. So I highly doubt that that's what Pete Carroll is doing. I highly doubt that. The fact that they haven't given an extension to Jacoby Myers, that's another red flag. What is going on with that, you know? And then we've been like screaming, put JPJ at center, right? He's like, no, not doing that. No. He says it in the press conference. Nope, not doing that. Why? Tell us why. Say, hey, JPJ performed horrible during training camp. Say JPJ is an offensive center, which we all know he's not. Say, I'm worried about JPJ because he has concussion issues, and putting him at center puts him in a vulnerable position. Say something. Myra goes, let's see. Why must we always have drama? Exactly. Why do we always have all this stupid ass drama, man? Always. We're the lost drama Raiders. I'm pissed that they played Bowers while injured. They're not like, even though Trey Tucker's having big games, they're not hardly targeting him at all. Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll didn't want to overuse Genty in the first couple of weeks while we were losing because they didn't want to put too much tread on him early in the season because they want him to play good in the late season. It's not going to matter in the late season if we don't win some fucking games at the beginning of the damn season. Chip Kelly made Ashton Genty change his stance and shit. Why? It's like, hey, you know what? I'm like the best running back in college football. Almost broke Barry Sanders' rushing record for college football. You know what? Let's make him change his stance. What the fantasy report with the follow salute goes, why not start Kenny Pickett? Because Kenny Pickett is awful. At this point, I'm willing to try it, honestly. But Kenny Pickett he's never thrown double-digit touchdowns. He throws a lot of picks. If you don't want to watch his his tape, go and just look at his stats. Look up Kenny Pickett's stats. They are horrible. It is bad. It is bad. Like the fact that we traded for him is weird. I would have rather had Shedeur Sanders than Kenny Pickett. Like that just tells me the Browns didn't want to get rid of Shedeur, or I don't know. They traded away Joe Flacco today, and he's not worth picking up either. And then putting Paul Mao at friggin' free safety, he's not a free safety. He's a strong safety. Why the hell do we have Paul Mao playing damn free safety? He's not good at it at all. At all. Man, Gary Johnson, you can eat one. Blah! Get up out of here. People on some bullshit. Oh, and then there was that whole thing about Tyree Wilson, right? Where during the training camp and during preseason, they're playing him at a lot of snaps at defensive tackle. And they were like, wow, Tyree Wilson is looking absolutely amazing when he takes snaps at defensive tackle. It's looking like Tyree Wilson's going to move to the defensive tackle position, right? And then we get to the regular season, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're actually just going to play him as edge rusher. Like, what are we doing? And then Pete Carroll keeps saying that he's still learning our players. Well, yeah, it's pretty obvious that you don't know our damn players because you're not utilizing them correctly. We have goddamn content creators that know this roster better than our fucking coach. Yeah. Rod, just call him Kenny Pickett. I get it. Raider Daily, start Cam. Cam had one good preseason game, and then he kind of fell apart. At this point, though, like, I don't see Geno just magically turning this around and then, absolutely just looking like, oh, yeah, Geno Smith turned around the season, and we went on a 6-game winning streak, and, now we're actually competing for the playoffs. Like, that's not about to happen. So why not go and play a Cam Miller or a Kenny Pickett or a Aiden O'Connell and see, like, hey, let's actually give a good test out with one of these guys. And let's see, do we hold on to one of these quarterbacks? Are they going to play good enough that we move into next season with them? Or do we absolutely need to go out of our way and go get a quarterback, which is what we need to do? But let's actually do the testing and figure it out, right? Hummer said, Max said him and JPJ were hating each other. JPJ might have came in like a prima donna, and Pete is making him step down from center to stop the attitude and the horrendous amount of penalties he got. I did see that thing where Max was talking about that, which is like, it's crazy, right? That he's, that Max said that. I didn't know that Max and JPJ were like kind of bumping heads when JPJ first got in the building. And that's a big red flag to me because Max is the guy that you got to get along with in that locker room because he is the most untouchable player that we have, right? I'm not saying he's untouchable. I'm just saying he's the most untouchable that we have. But nobody goes above the shield, not even Max Crosby. See, what else do we got? Yeah, we got Cam Miller, who's on the practice squad. We also got Tommy Malott. Both these were quarterbacks from small schools. We picked them up in the 6th round. Tommy Malott got cut. Then he went over there to the Saints. Now the Saints just cut him today. Cam Miller's on our practice squad. So we haven't even elevated him to the active roster. Which is like crazy to me, man. Let me see. Oh yeah, we lost Robert Spillane. We lost Trayvon Merrick. Like every single position on this whole roster has gotten worse, except for our running game. That's it. That is it, man. So yeah, when we take a look at the grand scheme of the Raiders and what we've done since the day that we fired Antonio Pierce, right? Which, let's face it, Antonio Pierce is a fucking traitor, so screw that guy. But, like, it's just been, like, and they fluffed it up really good, right? They made it look like, oh, we're doing this, and oh, we're doing that, and oh, it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. And Pete comes in, and he's like, I'm not trying to do a rebuild, I'm trying to win now, right? Just tell us the friggin' truth, man. Hummer, salute to you, man. You have a good night. Why not just tell us the goddamn truth, right? Tell us the goddamn truth. Say, hey, you know what? This is a shit show. Between the Gruden year where we had Henry Ruggs go to prison and Gruden, got his emails leaked, and then we had Josh McDaniels, and then we had AP, and like between all of this shit, Chris with the follow salute. Between all of this shit, They messed it up, guys. I'm sorry. Everybody kind of messed it up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a rebuild, right? And we're going to have, a couple bad years, and then, it's going to look better, right? But they can't tell us that. They're afraid that we're not going to buy tickets, right? We had the home opener against the Chargers. We had 90% of the damn stadium sold out by Raiders fans. Santos with the Geno, please leave Smith. We had 90% sold to Raiders fans. That is the most home field advantage that we've had since we moved to Vegas. And they friggin' blew it. Disgusting. Disgusting. So, you guys, I don't know about you, right? But I'm going to be here still making content. I'm going to be here on game day doing a watch party against the Titans. I'm going to be here. If y'all are going to be here, I'm going to be here, right? So look me up. Find me, man. It's Tuesday night. I've been on for almost an hour. I'm going to call it a night, you guys. We'll see what it looks like. I'm not doing any mock drafts yet. But just know that the mock drafts are going to be coming, man. They are going to be coming. You guys have been a great chat tonight. Salute to y'all. Like always, I love you, nation. I'll catch you on the next.